Hey guys, I wasn't kidding when I said I was just coming right over to the Riley Strain case. I am here. Let me close this out, and I just need to open up a couple of things on that. If you're just joining me and you're just here for the Riley Strain case, that's great. I just finished Sebastian Rogers. My name is Jessica Della Davies. I'm an investigative journalist. My job is to investigate crimes, crime scenes, and potential suspects, and share with you how to do the same thing. If you haven't subscribed to Reporter Room, please do. It's free and it helps me out so much. Let me run this. I want to run Sebastian's under here too. We're doing a giveaway, and everything I'm sharing is my opinion, and opinions are not facts. So let me get these open because we have a bunch of stuff to go through in the Riley Strain case, all kinds of breaking news today. So let me pop this in really quick, and I want to pull this up first. So the toxicology results were released. Let me share this with you. And then we're going to dig into this a little bit more. Okay. So we do have results on the toxicology. So the medical examiner has released the autopsy report for Missouri student Riley Strain. He disappeared on March 8th. So that's after Sebastian disappeared. And you guys will recall that he was kicked out of a bar in Nashville. Now, the report, and we're going to dig into that in just a second, concluded, but I'm just going to do an overview that he passed from a drowning and intoxication. His manner of death has been deemed an accident by law enforcement. He had a blood alcohol of 0.228. That's nearly 3 times the legal limit to drive. Now, he wasn't driving, and he also had Delta-9 in his system, and I'm going to talk about that. Let me pull that up too, because I have a whole bunch of stuff to dig into on this. What does that mean? And we're going to do this correctly for Riley. Okay. So this is Nick Barris. And we're going to go to Steve Fisher next, but he also talked about this. He said the autopsy and toxicology reports released on Riley Strain show that Riley's blood alcohol level was triple the legal limit. Now that's to drive, not to walk, and Riley was walking. Law enforcement is saying that he passed from accidental and alcohol. He was a student at University of Missouri, and he was asked to leave a bar. It was Luke's bar that he was asked to leave, and he was retrieved out of the Cumberland River 2 weeks after. So the Delta-9 was in his system. This is legal. It is legal, and it's available in 49 of the 50 states in the United States. So no sign of any other medications in his system. They did do this, and no signs of significant trauma. Let me go to the next one because Steve Fisher also talked about this. So let me go to him next. And he is the private investigator in the Riley Strain case. Okay. All right. You guys see that okay? All right. Let me say hello to chat. Come on in, you guys. If you're just joining me from the other chat, come on in. I'm glad you guys are here. Thank you to our head mods, and Jazz and Six Sense Amelia. Welcome to our newest channel member, Arlene. Thank you, and Jazz. Please give it a thumbs up on your way in. And don't forget to subscribe. So we have, come on in. Tell me where you're from. I'm glad you guys are here. Hi, the Jewel. And I hope you're feeling better, Jill. Meme says, I've been interested in this case too. Hi, Rake. This is the private investigator. We're going to go through his statements. In the Riley Strain case, he is working for the family. Good to see you. Hi, Marys. I'm glad you're feeling better, Jill. Leslie's here. Crime on Dime. We're going to have a great live stream. After this, I'm going to do a members only. Yeah, it's legal. And I'm gonna tell you exactly what that is and why I think it is significant in just a second. Yeah, Delta-9 is legal. Okay, it's legal. Tyler's here. Prophet of Truth is here. It is legal. We're gonna talk about what Delta-9 is. So come on in, you guys. Let's go through the private investigator first, and then we're gonna talk about what this is. Okay, so this is SF Investigates. Steve Fisher. He is the private investigator hired by the Riley Strain family, and he says that Riley's found pulmonary edema. So that's not shocking. We would expect that because edema is just going to be swelling, but there's going to be fluid in the chest cavity. So it also found pleural effusion, so fluid within the chest cavity without significant trauma. And they did full body and radiology were taken. So the medical examiner in Davidson County has ruled that Riley Strain's was accidental drowning. I'm watching my words here. The toxicology report revealed the presence of alcohol and medications, but not Rohypnol or any kind of CNS depressants, which would indicate foul play. So here's the toxicology findings. Blood alcohol was 3 times if you were driving the legal limit. He wasn't driving. 0.228%. That's a lot. It's a lot. And then the Delta-9, which we're going to talk about, was high. And then we have the 11-hydroxy Delta-9. So he says, my investigation on behalf of the Riley Strain case is still ongoing, and I cannot comment further at this time. Due to the chain of custody for certain evidence we wish to analyze further, I expect our investigation to last another 10 to 14 days. Once completed, my thorough report will be delivered to Riley's family, and it will be their decision whether or not to share or comment on any of the findings. So let me just make this bigger. So this is the report, and you can see the Delta-9 here. Let me make sure I'm showing you what I'm looking at. Yeah, okay. And we're going to talk about Delta-9, what that is. So it says, quote, too high, often edible, trying to figure out how you got there, and most importantly, wonder how to get back. Consumables are notorious for this phenomenon. So let's talk about that for a second. And I'm going to go through that in just a second. So this is completely legal, but it does have psychoactive effects. So you can hallucinate on this. And we saw Riley holding his head, and it could be something related to that. Okay, so this is the actual report. And you can see here that the alcohol level is very, very high. The blood alcohol concentration matches, it's very high. The isopropanol, that's femoral. So femoral is femoral blood is going to be the groin. And the analysis was done by Headspace GC. So the femoral blood is going to come from the groin area. Looks like he had a little bit of caffeine, a little bit maybe of nicotine, but mostly the Delta-9. So let me pull that up for you. What is it? It is legal. Make sure you guys can see what I'm seeing. Okay. So it is legal, but it does have this intoxicating effect, and it can have some serious side effects. So it's a chemical formula of the Delta-9, which is what they found in his system. This is the same as Delta-8, except for that one of the carbon doubles is in a different position. So that's just a little bit wonky. But how does it affect the body, and how is this affecting Riley? And we've all seen the videotapes of him holding his head and looking very intoxicated. Remember, this was also combined with alcohol, very high blood alcohol. So it can cause a intoxicating effect when it's consumed. So I don't know if he consumed it, but I'm assuming that's how. It can cause a altered perception of time and events. So was he disoriented, and is this how he ended up in the Cumberland River? It can cause a sense of giddiness, increased focus, and relaxation, but it can also have some really bad side effects as well. It can cause anxiety, difficulty thinking and speaking, dry mouth, increased appetite, memory loss. And I'm wondering if this memory loss would have been significant because he was going the wrong way to where his hotel was, right? So maybe he wasn't sure where he was supposed to be going. It can cause a rapid heart rate, red eyes, and slowed reaction time. So if he did accidentally tumble down into the Cumberland River, or maybe he was going to use the restroom and this is why the pants were off, but the shirt was on, something like that, where he undid the belt. Because I thought it was weird that the belt, which hasn't been found with the pants, would come off, but the shirt would still be on, right? But maybe that came off because he was, confused. If he had some memory loss and if he was having some of these altered perceptions of time and events. But this is legal. And most people tolerate it okay. But again, this would have been a lot consumed with a lot of alcohol. So the THC triggers your brain to release a large amount of dopamine. That's a feel-good chemical. This is why it feels good to people. That's what the dopamine does. But it comes at a risk because between 9 and 30% of people who use this can develop a disorder. I'm watching my words here. So what are the side effects? Long term, short term, you can have anxiety, muscle spasticity. So this could also be why, if he ended up in the river, why he couldn't get himself out. Nausea. Was he trying to vomit or throw up, and pain? But it can have a lot of side effects. These are temporary, but anxiety, dry mouth, increased appetite and heart rate, memory loss, red eyes, and slowed reaction time. So between the alcohol and this Delta-9, with this, even if he had ended up in the river, which only comes up to waist level, 9 feet out, so he should have been able to get up. But if his reaction time was slow and it was cold, then maybe that's contributed to him not being able to. But this is the part that caught my eye. It can cause hallucinations, paranoia, and panic attacks. So was he hallucinating? Did he have an adverse or negative reaction to this? And, was he feeling paranoid or having a panic attack and a hallucination? And is this how he ended up in the river? Maybe he walked down to the river. So it is legal. In a lot of the states, it is legal in Tennessee. That's different than the other one that's not legal in all the states, but Delta-9 is legal. It does have a lot of side effects though, and the hallucinations and the paranoia, panic attack, along with nausea and vomiting. Somebody should have been with him. If he had had somebody with him, he would have been okay. So some states, in Tennessee, it is legal, and for others, it's not. Let me just double check my work on that. Make sure I'm giving you guys the most accurate. I'm just pulling up Tennessee. Is it legal? And this is the Fox News about the case. We're going to go through that, and we're going to go through whether this is legal or not legal. Should it be legal? I don't know. But I think it's just like any other substance. We need to be careful. Let me say hello to chat really quick. And I'm glad you guys are here. Yeah, I would just wanted to follow this case all the way through to the end because I do want to know what happened to Riley. I'm glad you guys are here. Arlene got lost. And we're going to do a members live stream after this. Julie Lane said maybe he just drank too much and mixed it with the Delta-9. Yeah, it could be the two combined. But they said it was the pulmonary edema. Um, so this is just the toxicology. But let's go through this article together. So the Tennessee's chief medical examiner released a full toxicology report today for Riley. He was only 22 years old. So it says here that it was twice the legal limit if you're driving, but it's also been reported that it's 3 times the legal limit. So the evidence of pleural effusion or water on the lungs and pulmonary edema were also reported. So he did have water. He did have some water on his lungs. So the initial reports that we got that he didn't have any water in his lungs, it seems like there was evidence of pleural effusion. So in addition to the high blood content, the evidence of caffeine, nicotine, and then that Delta-9, that was fine. There's Riley. So he had been out on Broadway drinking with his friends at Luke's bar downtown called Luke's 32. Strain's family accused the bar of over-serving him, but it was established that they had only served him 1 alcoholic drink and the other ones were 2 waters. And Riley was found on March 22nd in the Cumberland River. He was found wearing his shirt, but no boots, no belt, and no pants. This is where they think he went in. So they are ruling this accidental. They ruled it accidental with their preliminary autopsy in March. So I don't know, but his family did get an attorney. So I don't know. Because his pants and wallet were missing, a lot of people felt like there was some foul play, prompting his family to arrange a second autopsy. Now, we don't have that yet. That's why Steve is telling us in his information that that there's going to be another 10 to 14 days 10 to 14 days before we have everything. And that's if the family chooses to release it to us. I don't know if they will or they won't. I do want to just say thank you to our VIP Autism GMA times 3 and our producers, George Brown, and Jazz, Angry Months. I'm not finishing. Not So Saintly, Debbie Joe, and Jane J. And also thank our channel members for allowing me to cover cases like Riley's. You guys make it possible. If you haven't subscribed to Reporter Room, it's free. And we're doing a giveaway. And I have the terms and conditions of the giveaway posted in the community section on my channel. And I also have a video on the giveaway that you can watch with the terms and conditions linked in the description of that video for your review. And I also want to do a shout out for super thanks and PayPal gratitude. Thank you so much. This was from our last live stream, and Jazz for her 5 gifted channel memberships. Okay, so let's go back to this. Okay, so yeah, we don't have all the information yet from Steve yet. Let me just go through and see if you guys have any comments or questions. Gwen just said, I wouldn't be surprised. They didn't say that's what it was. They said it was specifically Delta-9. Tony says, please just do commentary instead of saying hi to everyone. Well, I do that when I'm doing my videos, Tony, but this is social media and it's an interactive chat, which means I'll look up stuff for you guys while we're doing the chat. So I am going to say hello to chat when I'm doing live streams. It's just considered polite. Prophet says drinking and Delta-9 mixed together, maybe dizzy or sleepy. Yeah. And if he was having a hallucination, I think it's possible that between, with the amount of alcohol in his blood system, and then combine that with the Delta-9, that maybe he would have had some disorientation. So maybe even if he had gone in the Delta River, which again would have just come up to his waist, 9 feet out, so he should have been able to just stand up and get out. But if he was having some kind of a hallucination, then maybe not, right? And Jess says, welcome to you, Tony. Grunchuck says, maybe people take too much. Yeah, that could be. We don't know. We don't know. Jess N says, Kylie Rodney also had Delta-9 in her system. Did she? Let me pull that up and see. Let me see. So this is Kylie. It does show Delta-9. You're right. Delta-9. There it is. Good job. Good memory. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. So yeah, you're right, Jess. Thank you. Prophet of Truth said he was probably vaping Delta-9. Okay. I didn't know that. Delta-9 is a legal substance in Tennessee. Let me tell you exactly what it is. It's legal in a lot of states. Okay, so there's Delta-8 and Delta-9. Okay. So in Delta and 8, they both come from the same plant. I'm watching my words. Let's see what the differences is. This tells me the benefits. See, disorientation and lethargy. So being lethargic, tired, and disoriented, that may be why he didn't get out of the Cumberland River. He could have been disoriented. He could have been having a hallucination. So it's naturally occurring and you can consume it. It can help with certain conditions. So Delta-8 and Delta-9 are composed of the same elements, carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, only differing slightly in how those elements are arranged. This is according to Dr. Gordon. My source on this is Forbes Health. But they do exhibit differences. So how are they different? Delta-9 has been studied extensively for 60 years, but we don't know a lot about the Delta-8. Delta-9 is highly regulated in states. So I don't know how he ingested it, but I hope I've answered your question. Let's see. I'm glad you're here too. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thanks for that, Tony. Mary says, I'm sorry, in my opinion, I'll never understand how his heavy clothing and boots were not on him, but his shirt and boxers were on him. Does not make sense. Yeah, I don't know if he stripped them off, if he was disoriented and then just took everything off, because that is one of the side effects, is being disoriented. So maybe he got down to the river. Maybe his heart was beating really fast. He felt anxious and just wanted to cool off. Or maybe he was trying to go to the bathroom and was disoriented and was taking things off and taking things down and then just fell in. Please watch what words you guys are using in the chat. I feel bad for Riley's family as well. Yeah, welcome. Come on in, guys. It's very, very sad. And definitely, And Justice very sad. He was a lovely young man. Thanks for that, Leslie. 1300 says, I do too. Red Strick said, makes people paranoid. Yeah, so maybe, remember he was kind of running and then he hit his head. And, maybe he thought someone was chasing him. Maybe he was just disoriented and lost and just running. Maybe he felt good and was just running. I don't know. This is our head mod. Njaz is our other head mod, 6 Cents Amelia. Thank you to all of our mods today. Can it produce extreme sensations of high? Thank you for that. Maybe steroids? Mary says, if they came off of him, where are they? Well, they're somewhere in the Cumberland River, right? They may not find those for months now. Hey, positive vibes. I'm glad you're here. Jillian Lane said, I guess he didn't realize how much he drank. Arlene thinks his drink could have been laced. I guess that's possible. So I guess this is where the attorney's going to come in, because, the fraternity brothers did not help him search, right? Tony said, Lisa, none were found in the lab work. What was his tox? I went through the toxicology. I did go through that. You want to back up the chat if you missed it. But he also had that fall. Mary's is right. He had that fall. Lisa thinks that it was spiked. Leslie said, didn't he also hit his head? It looked like it. We couldn't tell for sure in the video, Leslie, but it sure looked like it. 1300 Toe thinks his drink could have been spiked. Thank you for being with me today. I did want to follow this case through because I really do care about Riley. Mixed with alcohol would cause coordination and perception issues, whether he vaped it or ingested it orally or ate it. Yeah. Orally said, if spiked, would have showed up on the tox stream. Right. And there was nothing that showed up on the tox stream. It wasn't a large amount. Let me pull that back up so we can look at that. Okay, so it wasn't a huge amount. You guys see that? All right, so let's see. It has been ruled accidental by the medical examiner in Davidson County, Tennessee. It was related to this Delta-9, which was greater than 50 with a reporting level of 0.50. And then there was this 11-hydroxy Delta-9, 5.5 with a reporting level of 3.0. And then the Delta-9, which is 17 with a reporting level of 5.0. So the Delta-9 has psychoactive effects. And remember, this was combined with really high blood alcohol of 0.228. So that would have enhanced its potency. But it also had the 11-hydroxy Delta-9 potent psychoactive effects. And then this heightened potency is largely attributed to its increased ability to cross the blood-brain barrier, resulting in pronounced cognitive and perceptual effects. So the differences between these two compounds are vital in both clinical and legal contexts, especially in understanding the implication of how it can be used. So I hope that answers your question. And then this is the actual work order of it, page 2, which shows the alcohol content, blood alcohol of 0.228, and then the delta here. The result was 17. So, and this was all taken from femoral. Femoral is the groin area. It's one of the main arteries. If you've ever had any kind of stent done cardiac, they'll go in through the femoral or the wrist. They also pulled his vitreous fluid. If you look down here into the creatinine and sodium and potassium levels. So that was taken from vitreous, which is the eye. And that's probably because he was in the water so long that they would have gone in for that. So yeah, that's really high. So he's going to turn in, Steve is going, who's the private investigator for the family, he's going to turn in his final information to the family So I don't know if his family's going to want to release that or not release this. By the way, if you're looking for me on Twitter, this is my account here. I am a journalist. I was verified in June of 2021. This is long before Elon Musk bought Twitter and started selling blue check marks. And I screenshot this because this is what used to pop up. Now it just gives you the date. So if you want to know if somebody was verified prior to Elon Musk buying Twitter and selling the blue check marks, you can simply click on their blue check mark. It'll show you the date. I really am a journalist. And I was this used to pop up on my account. This account is verified because it was notable, government, news, entertainment, or another designated category. In my category, I was doing news. That is my category, and I did verify as a journalist, which means I had to prove that I was a journalist to Twitter. So now it's called X, but I just did want to say, because somebody was saying they weren't, that, the blue check marks don't mean anything because you can buy them now. Well, yeah, I guess, but it's like, buying a trophy versus earning one. You could buy a trophy at the store, but it's not the same thing. So I did work hard for mine, and I just wanted to share that that I didn't buy a blue check mark. So anyway, somebody was asking about that. So I'm back to Steve now. So I think it's really sad. This is, of course, not how anybody wanted this to end up. We wanted Riley to be found safe and sound, and that didn't happen. And then I don't know why the parents went to get a lawyer. I'm not really sure what that's about, but we know the reason that we have this hold where he's not coming out with the report to the families because we don't have everything, because they ordered their own private autopsy of Riley and we don't have that yet. Yeah, maybe he was scared to tell his mom. I don't know. I mean, most kids probably don't tell their mom that kind of stuff. That's a great point. Hey, Shelly. Shelly said, I hate to admit it, but I tried Delta and I'll never do it again. It's legal. And Jazz is welcoming you. Carol says he could have just laid down the ground to sleep because he was going to pass out. He got robbed by a homeless person. Yeah, it could have been something like that too. I don't know if we'll ever know. The weirdest thing is how I showed you guys all the bushes and how he would have possibly have gone down there with no bruising, right? But I think we're going to have to wait. They did their own, and I think we're going to have to wait for the final report. Lulu says, I think he hit his head hard when he fell in the parking lot. Lisa says think he was spiked. Julie Lane said he would have been better. Yeah, probably. It is sad. That's really sad. It's not what any of us wanted. Hey, Cynthia. Grunge Truck says he might have felt hot and sick and wanted some water. Oh yeah, it could have been something like that too, where he was feeling nauseous, because it can cause. He could have been like leaned over, or gone down to the river to throw up also, because it does cause nausea and vomiting, right? The frat boys were not his friends. I definitely think like the frat boys, somebody should have left with him. I don't understand why they didn't leave with him. And I don't understand why he wasn't reported until hours and hours later. And maybe this is what the family's lawsuit's going to be about. Oh, wow. Thank you so much for the $10 super sticker, Njaz. That is really nice of you. I will be putting that toward a new computer. Those of you that have been with me for a while know I do burn through these computers pretty fast. I do a lot of editing on them. Jill Elaine said, wouldn't he see it in a drink? He said the drink tasted smoky. He didn't taste right. He had a rum and Coke and he said it tasted smoky. His friends should have grabbed him. Yeah. Or maybe if the bouncers were going to bounce him out of the bar, maybe the new rule could be, if you're going to bounce somebody out of the bar because they're so intoxicated, you have to put them in a cab You have to physically put them in a cab or make sure they're walking out with someone. So I think something could be done to prevent this from happening in the future. And Amelia saying, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Grunchuk says, or at least went with him. Yeah, he tasted it, Jojo. He tasted like a smoky taste. Did they do a hair strand? Not that I saw, but the family's doing their own separate. So we'll see what they do. Thank you so much, Leslie, for the $1 super sticker. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'll be putting that toward the computer fund. Thank you. And Jess says, welcome, Noel. Jill Lane says, so maybe he didn't know what was going on with him. I still don't understand why none of his friends didn't ride to the hotel with him. I don't get it either. Or at least put him in a cab, put him in an Uber. And I'm wondering if that's what the lawsuit's going to be about, because, or maybe, or just even when he didn't come back, when they went back to the hotel after him and he wasn't there, did he have a roommate? Why wasn't he reported missing? Or were they just all so intoxicated? Was it something like that? Deborah said, oh, thank you, Deborah. What is the membership only about? We're going to talk about the Sebastian Rogers case. And Amelia says, thank you for supporting Reporter Room. To you, Leslie. Joe says they ruled accidental because it's a tourist season. They don't want people to be afraid to go there. And I think that's what the family is really worried about too. The family's really worried that this was ruled accidental because they're, rushing to just close this case, right? Lisa said, if he was that bad, how did he get down? There were no bruises or scratches and managed to take the boots off. Great question. Yeah, I do need a new computer. If you look at my camera, I look a little fuzzy. It's my camera starting to go. I use this computer for a lot. Prophet says, Joe, the facts is Nashville, like any metro city, is unsafe. If you aren't sober, life can go wrong. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to say hi to chat because I just think it's polite. What's the point of doing a live stream if I'm just going to ignore everybody who's been kind enough to show up into the top chat? If I just ignore you and I do get into stuff, but I do like to say hi. It's called social media. So I do want to be, for people who take the time out of their life to come and show up and be part of the top chat. I absolutely like to interact and Arlene says, thank you to Leslie. What was his alcohol again? Let me pull it up. Hold on one second. Yeah, I'm going to say hi. Okay. I think we've, Cynthia said, did he have a bruise or injury from where he fell or hit his head? No bruising, which is why the family was like doing their own. Kaya Gypsy Karma Moon says, but in those video captures on the roadway, it seemed like he encountered somebody wearing dark clothes who was asking him something. It seemed suspicious. I don't know. And I agree with Prophet here. It sounds like he fell off the edge and bounced into the water, or he could have gone down to the water through the. I showed you how dense it was, so I feel like I don't think he went. The law enforcement thinks he went in the water right under that bridge. I don't know that he did or not because I just don't. It's a big drop off, right? It's a big drop off. But Jody says you can get water down your throat the wrong way. It's hard to breathe. Yeah. Hey, Christine. I am your reflection said maybe he felt hot and went for a swim to cool off. And that's what happened. Yeah, it could be. It can raise your heart rate. So it could be something like that where he took off his pants or maybe he was trying to use the restroom. I don't know. I don't know if we're ever going to have the answers, but I think there is still a lot of questions around the lack of bruising on Riley. Grunchuk said, if you could find the levels, it would say a lot. 0.223. And so it was, let me pull this up. So Fox News is reporting that it's 2 times the legal limit. So another outlet was reporting 3 times the legal limit, but they say more than twice the legal limit, more than. So maybe it was somewhere between 2 and 3. But yeah. Well, I think I'm going to leave it there, guys. Let me see if there's any more questions that I missed. Betty said, right, if it was in his system from a month ago. Yeah, remember it took them a couple weeks to get everything. Gresha said he was tripping out and wanted a safe place to feel better. Yeah, and he could have gone down to the homeless embankment. I don't know. Thank you for sharing my Twitter account, Amelia. So thank you to all of our mods. And thank you to all of our channel members. We appreciate your acknowledgement, Jessica. We're like a family here. Yeah, it is. It's like a family. And it just feels good to come together. I just don't think this is news everybody wants to have alone. And Njaz, who's one of our head mods, along with Six Sense Amelia, thanks all the mods. Thank you to all our mods. Thank you to our head mods, Njaz and Six Sense Amelia. Thank you to all of our mods. And I just do want to say thank you to Autism GMA. Thank you to our producers, George Brown, Njaz, Angry Mons, Not So Saintly, Debbie Joe, and Jane J. Thank you to our channel members. I really appreciate you guys. And if you would like to become a channel member, we're going to do a live stream for channel members next on the Sebastian Rogers case. The join button is next to the subscribe button, but subscribing is free. So please consider subscribing. But thank you to all of our channel members. You allow me to cover these cases and do some of these smaller interest videos, I would say, from Riley. And thank you so much for this is from Sunday's live stream for your super thanks, and Njaz gifted 5 channel memberships. All right, guys. Well, I think I'm going to go into the members only. C. Taylor says 0.08 is legal. Yeah, it's legal. The substance is legal. I wasn't saying the legal limit, but yeah, the substance itself is. Karen says, I wish I'd come early. Thank you. I'm going to hit the replay. Yeah, you can back up any of these chats. And please like, share, subscribe. I didn't get a chance to share this video out. Thank you, Amelia. Thank you, all of you. But I will share it out after the members only live stream. And I'm going to leave it there. So I will see you guys on the next live stream. I'm going to do another. I'm going to be covering the Brian Koberger hearing. There's one coming up on June 26th. So be on the lookout for that. I'll be going live around 12:30, 1 p.m. I'll post it up here probably tomorrow. And I'm going to continue to follow the Sebastian Rogers case. And then when we get another update on Riley, I will continue to follow Riley's case as well, because I know a lot of you guys really love and care about Riley and his family. So I will see you next time. Thank you so much for joining me.